Welcome to On Map, On Mission. My name is Scott Rogers. This is the third conversation in our set of discussions around healthy habits. And today we're talking about finding your fun. Come on, sit down at the table. Let's enjoy this conversation. Well, we're back. On Map, On Mission, Matt Robertson, Scott Rogers here. We haven't even changed our clothes in this whole series because we just couldn't stop.
That is the weirdest thing you've ever said to me.
We're talking today in this series of conversations around healthy habits for the new year. We've talked about read, the value of reading, the benefits of reading. We talked last episode about how to win the morning.
That was a good one.
How to invest in ourselves before we invest in someone else. And today, I kind of think, well, let's lighten it up a little bit, but I don't think this is light. I think this is very serious. But it's also very fun because we're talking about how to find your fun and how healthy that is.
It is serious, but it's so life-giving. I think that's the thing. I'm kind of like, I'm ready to go have fun. We've been talking about it. I'm ready to talk about it and then go do it.
So let's just start. Let's be honest about this, though, to get this thing rolling. Life is hard. I don't think we deny that. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of challenges in life, in the world, and a lot of responsibilities that so many of us carry. Is it immature? Is it silly? Is it insensitive to sell this idea that we've got to make a priority in our lives, make one of the priorities being that of having fun?
I hope not. I say absolutely. My vote would be absolutely 100% no way. I don't think it's immature. I don't think it's insensitive. I actually would argue that it's immature and insensitive to push fun aside for the sake of anything like productivity or, having that family meeting. Like you can add fun to anything. And what's funny is, productivity and engagement will actually go up.
Yeah.
So you look at our offices, right? We just rebounded with our office situation. We had this offices where great facility. We had it for years, but everyone was in these four walls. They all had their own space, and they rarely interacted unless it was on the calendar in a meeting. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, we sell that building. We take some money from the sell, and we go renovate one of our other facilities to a open space, this open concept, and what have you noticed in that experience as it pertains to this subject?
I noticed that I'm bothering more people than I used to.
You are. That's right. Me included, actually. I wanted to talk to you about that.
We'll talk about that later. But we interact a lot more. We laugh together a lot more.
Yeah, because not only, I don't have to schedule fun now, but if I walk upstairs coming off of a lunch or a meeting and you and Brad and Christian are having fun, I could even get in on it if I wanted to. Does that slow down the productivity of our organization? Maybe for 30 seconds. Right. But when you go back to your office and you're rejuvenated and you've had a good time, I would say that you actually accomplish more. I think there's something scientific out there, I'm sure there is, about fun and its kind of connection to productivity.
I am going to ask you this question because I don't have much perspective on this, but in some circles, and a lot of our audience is Christian, but not all of our audience are followers of Christ. Sure. You grew up in many ways a great, wonderful, life-giving Christian environment as a child. I didn't, so this is why I throw this question at you. It seems like in some circles, though, having fun is like taboo, or it's not accepted, or you shouldn't have fun because you've always got to be serious because you've got the mission of the Lord at hand. Or like, am I just thinking crazy on that?
Well, you have to admit, dude, that fun has inserted itself into places within the context of church specifically. Mm-hmm. It's inserted itself in places that it didn't always exist. And that's nobody's fault. It doesn't make that generation more or less stuffy. It's just the tradition that they were given. Mm-hmm. So back in the 70s, 80s, I would say that, the idea of reverence is probably the appropriate word. These men and women came to that service with a sense of reverence. They didn't, in my denomination, okay, which meant, listen, we're not going to raise our hands. We're going to be quiet when the pastor's talking. We're not going to laugh. It is a time to be quiet. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of an unspoken rule. And I just think as culture has shifted, we've learned that, no, that's not actually the case. And maybe Jesus wasn't actually like that. Maybe there was a little bit of fun in him. When you see him go to dinner parties or go to people's, celebrations in their homes, he sat around with people that a lot of people didn't even want him to be around and had a great time. And by the end of that experience, he had affected their life forever. And I think, man, Jesus actually had fun.
I think he probably told some awesome dad jokes.
Maybe. I want to be on the other side of a miracle. Like, he knows what's about to happen. And,
And let's have a little fun with this.
Yeah, let's have a little fun with this. Let's have a little fun with this.
Well, here's what Colossians 3:17 says, and whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. So whatever you do, you can do it in honor and, giving glory to God. And fun, I think, is one of those things that God gave it to us. He gave us these emotions and these desires to have fun and laugh and joy, and it's good for the soul.
It's totally good for the soul. It totally makes us better human beings, makes us interact differently. I think it's amazing. And by the way, if you're listening today and you're like, I'm not you don't know me, I'm not a fun person, I would say, then get around a fun person.
Yeah.
And here's the hard part. Submit your agenda to the fun person once and watch what happens.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, this is what we're trying to get. We do this at home. So my wife, Jennifer, and I joke about, who's more fun. And so for me, I love to turn everything into a game. I love it. And I don't think that, I think we actually, when we embrace it, we all come to the table. We need to get the house clean by this. Okay, girls, it's us against you, and you've got the upstairs and we've got the downstairs. I will always add some little element of that. Or we're about to go shopping, and the girls are like, and then I give them each, hey, here's X number of dollars on a card. You guys each get to go shopping too. So it's more fun that way. And they're like, just adding those little nuances of game or of engagement.
Yeah, that's great.
And then you come to the end, and how do you tie all that to the glory of God? It's being thankful. It's gratitude. Like, we can do this because we're not in control of this world.
Yeah.
We can sit here and rest and have a great time because everything around us is taken care of because God's good. Like, you see what I mean? Like, just
great.
Playing it so practically. It's so much more fun to live life that way.
So let's talk about, maybe for those of us who are like, okay, I got to find it. I got to find my fun. I don't know if I have a whole lot of fun. How do I find it? Let's talk about hobbies as something that's fun.
You go first on this one.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I get in trouble. Because I'm kind of a Renaissance guy. I have my hands in all kinds of stuff. So what are the things?
Some of my hobbies that
like
I have
soul,
fun with?
they fill up your soul. You have a great time. I know a few of them, but
okay, so here's something I learned. I'm going to tie a couple questions into one here. I was speaking at a church several years ago, and this guy walks up to me, and I must have said something from the stage about working out or how I hated running, or I did whatever it was. I don't remember what it was. And he walks up to me, and he's like really like buff, super healthy looking guy. Really nice.
Kind of like me. Looks kind of like me.
Yeah. And he said, hey, man, here's the thing about working out and exercise. Find something fun find an exercise that you like that's fun, and that can become a hobby for you, and you'll never work out again in your life. And I thought, man, that's really, really good advice. And so what I have found is some things that I do incorporate exercise as well. I cycle a little bit,
nice,
not a ton, because it's fun. It can be a workout, believe me, but most of the time it's just sheer pleasure. You get to kind of check out and focus on different things, and it's just a whole lot of fun. That's a hobby of mine. Musically, I play guitar a little bit. That's just kind of a hobby. It's kind of fun. I picked it back up after years of not even touching it, and so I'm just doing some fun stuff with that no one in the world will probably never hear, but it's just super fun.
Sure.
Hiking is super fun for me. Living in Houston, that's a hard thing to now achieve, so I got to schedule it and go figure it out and get
especially
places.
Up here in the burbs, right?
Yeah. That kind of thing. I love going to like a bookstore or something. And
like a
just,
Barnes and Noble, just getting lost in it.
browsing around, or this is, that's kind of geeky, but even a library and just poking around and doing that. Or another thing I like to do for fun, it's a hobby, is just driving around listening to music, like putting in some classic music.
I will affirm this in you because we've traveled a lot together.
Yeah.
Especially since you've been back. We've taken trips actually all over the world together. And some of the most connected times that I feel with you, because we both love to do that, is when it's like, hey, listen to this one. Yeah. We call it, the guys in the band a long time ago called it friendship radio, which is where each guy gets to pick one, but the only rule is you got to listen to the entirety of the song. Yeah. And Scott...
we're doing that all the time.
We're doing that all the time, so I remember that. That's great.
So I just think in the spirit of this idea of finding your fun, I just really encourage people, get some hobbies in your life, get some recreation in your life. If you're too busy to have fun, you're not living. That's just my opinion. That's not judgmental. I mean, what are you here for? You're here, God's got a calling on my life. He's got purpose, and it's about the gospel and the Great Commission. Yes, but I think you're going to be better at that if you have some things in your life that you're just having fun doing.
Yeah, let me take another angle at this, which is if you lead people. So whether it's your children, like I talked about with my girls, I'm also the leader of this organization. Why add fun to those things? I think you miss out on a huge opportunity to build the culture of your family, build the culture of the people that you lead. Maybe it's a small group that you lead. Maybe you're just in business with you and one or two other people. If you can create a sense of fun in the midst of the work time, you'd be amazed at how it shifts the culture of, said organization or family. Yeah. In my family, it brings a level of life and intentionality. And when everybody goes to bed having smiled and laughed a little bit, our home is a more peaceful environment. At work, when we've done a staff meeting, but we start the staff meeting with something fun. That staff meeting has a level of productivity and intentionality to it and engagement that some of the other ones don't. Yeah. Fun is actually I think it's one of the legs of a stool that a healthy culture lives on. And so if you're a leader of an organization, not to the detriment of people's jobs. I've had leaders like that where it was always only and ever was to have fun. I'm like, hey, I do need opportunity to go back to my desk and do what I'm paid to do. Sure. But communicate to me effectively that, hey, next Thursday we're going to go do this, and it's like it gives me this anticipatory thing, and I'm excited. I'm productively working to get all my weekly stuff done before we leave, and funnily, I do. Funnily? Is that a word? Funnily?
I don't know.
It is today.
Funnily, yes.
Funnily a word. So anyway, invite fun. Into that. For me, my hobbies are pretty random. I'm very eclectic. Particularly the thing I probably love more than anything is sports. So I love to watch sports. I love to go to sporting events. It doesn't matter to me if it's soccer, football, baseball, hockey, basketball. I like it all. Yeah. I'm not a hater on any of those. I enjoy all athletic. I just like the competition. I like the
environment too.
The energy in the stadium. Yeah. You want a crazy energy? Go watch a hockey game.
Oh yeah. Totally.
Hockey fans are nuts. So those are fun. But I really enjoy that. And I think there's just something life-giving when I get to go participate in that. I love to fly airplanes, so I've had this kind of secret love of flying since I was probably 8 years old. I've never finished my license because it's either my life's situation shifted, financial situation shifted. It is pretty expensive, but that's a dream of mine is to finish my pilot's license, and I just have fun. I'm not thinking about anything else. I just get up in the air, and man, you can see for miles and miles and miles. You have great conversation with the person you're with. I love flying. Love to ride motorcycles. I'm a coach, so I love to, back to sports, but I love also to motivate other people. That's really fun for me. And in the health situation, I'm learning to love working out, but I'll tell you what I love. I love being with somebody when I do it. Yeah. So for me, it doesn't matter if we're cycling or if we're lifting or if we're swimming. Can we go together? So I'm a highly relational human being. So as long as we can do that, I don't really care what the workout is. It was so hard. Yeah, I think so. I don't remember it. I remember Scott and I talked about Yeah, right?
Right.
That's probably more
Yeah.
my bent on my hobbies.
I'm going to add something to it. I don't know if it's a hobby, if it's recreation, but it's fun and it's new for me, being in this season of life, and it's just getting together with friends and hanging out. I know that sounds so elementary to so many of us, but for so many years, I have workaholic tendencies,
Sure.
even behaviors, and I just would work all the time, and I'm enjoying the work. I like working, but I wasn't stopping the work and just going and being with people. And it's just in the last few years where that has become like a big deal to me. And my wife has been very gracious in that. She sees the value in it, or at least she's trying to see it.
Yeah.
Because, I'm just going to hang out with the guys. And, I come home 5 hours later and she's like, what do you do? So we have different personalities. But I was just like, man, it fills me up. It's just fun hanging out with people.
It really is.
And I'll just say it this way, hanging out with people who get you, who love you, and you can be stupid with.
Yeah.
I mean, in a responsible way, but there's no pretense.
How?
I don't have to perform when I'm with these people. And I just think, if you don't have that, try to find it, because it's a big deal.
Yeah, in fact, I was going to ask the question, when you go and hang out with these friends and you guys have fun together, how does that affect those relationships?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. I think from my experience, relationships get deeper, meaning more honest, more trusting, vulnerable, transparent, richer, and good when you do two things together. When you're on mission together, meaning you're locking arms and you're sweating together in the sense of grinding it out, doing hard work together to get something done. There's kind of a camaraderie that develops, and just having fun together, laughing together, telling stories.
That's right.
Something about those two things.
Yeah.
If you can do that with the same group of people, there's something special happening.
I'll go back to the spiritual realm a little bit, but we overcomplicate discipleship so much.
Mm-hmm.
We make it about the transfer of knowledge. And I do want to say this, if you're listening, there is transfer of knowledge in discipleship. It's important.
Mm-hmm.
But tonight's a great example. There's a big game on, for instance, and we've got small group or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then do we forego the spiritual conversation to have
To watch the game?
fun?
Oh, no.
And I go, yeah, absolutely. because, and it started just like this. We had a text message going back and forth. And, hey, the game is, this time, this date. And one of the guys starts it. And so I say, hey, okay, great. Let's do it at my house. The next guy goes, okay, do you want us to bring anything? I said, yeah, Mexican food's the theme. So one guy goes, I'll bring chips and salsa. The next guy goes, I'll bring queso. And another guy goes, what do you want me to bring? And lo and behold, on the text thread, I thought, well, I could tell him, or I could make this fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I say, well, if Mexican's the theme, and I go, there's chalupas and chimichangas and burritos. I just start listing anything that I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
And I got about 6 in, and I just put ... send. And 10 seconds later, another guy says, then there's also Jack in the Box and Taco Bell. And he starts listing all the fast food and then the next. And my point was, and then before you know it, that each and every guy has a big silly grin on his face. We're all going to bring something, and nobody really cares what you bring to the game. But we're going to have a connecting point when we show up to the game. And then we're going to watch the game together. And sometimes the game is so exciting that it takes precedent. 99% of the time, maybe less, 95% of the time, your conversations aren't even remotely oriented around the game because you're together, you're having a good time, and you'll be amazed at how fun could also lead to really in-depth.
So you're saying having
conversation.
fun is actually one way that God accomplishes his redemptive purposes in the world?
Love that. Yeah,
Mm.
I would.
Yeah.
I would. In fact, most of the lifelong relationships that I possess are people that I'm willing to have fun with.
Mm-hmm.
We've got friends, and if they're listening, what's up, Randy and Danae. They live up in Oklahoma City. We've known them for the last almost 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we've done vacations with them all over the place. Our kids have grown up knowing them. They knew Chloe when she was 1, and she just turned 18. So we're right there. And every time we're with them, it's a commitment to be together, to have fun. We just got back from skiing in Santa Fe, New Mexico. They didn't even ski with us, but every night we'd come home, we'd eat some great food, we'd put a puzzle together, we'd play games at the table, and we would laugh. And those things are the things that I remember. I don't remember doing project management with somebody.
Yeah.
I remember having fun with people. I think it's more memorable, and I think it sits in a different place in our brain than most people think. And it gives us access to the most in-depth, important things in the human heart. But we've got to begin there.
Yeah.
So
it makes me think about how we'll kind of wrap it up with this is, how the right brain is the more relational, the more emotive, I feel, all that stuff. And if, in Western culture, we get a lot locked into our left brain, which is linear thinking,
Logic.
data, logic, all of that.
yeah.
And I don't know this. I'm just wondering, and I'm assuming, but the fun stuff is over in the right brain.
Yeah.
And it's pretty proven neurologically that's where relationships are rich and happen.
Yeah.
And so fun feeds that as well. It just kind of makes
Yeah, we
sense
were
for me.
a couple of episodes ago. We were talking about read. You asked me one of the books I'm reading right now, and it was a book called The Other Half of Church. And he's called a what
He calls himself a neurotheologian. Jim Wilder.
which I think is just incredible.
Yeah.
And but I agree with you 100%. It's in that feeler side. Fun is in the feel. And when you're developing relationally, when you're developing emotionally, that is such a need.
Yeah.
I would just say, go watch a child who's developing in a healthy environment. Their first reaction and response to life is not serious. It's always joy. It's always laugh. It's fun. It's smile. There's something highly developed. We lose it over time because we shift everything. And I would say we got to do our part to find our fun and to invite it into our relationships. And if we can do that, I think we'd be amazed at what comes from it.
That's great. Well, we hope you guys have enjoyed these conversations around healthy habits, and look forward to bringing you the next set of discussions. You guys have some fun, start reading more and more, win your morning. Thanks for inviting us into your space. Appreciate
Go have some
ya.
fun!
Go have some fun!